Well, mate, we're here today, aren't we?
Yes.
To provide a public service to every barbel, carp and meat angler in the country. Now, we both said we'd go away by half a dozen meats. I couldn't wait to see your meat. What have you brought, Ron?
I've brought some of Tesco's own pork chopped ham.
Oh, bit of cheap stuff.
Tulip, which is probably one of my favourites.
Bit of a classic.
Bit of spam, everyone loves a bit of spam. It is a bit pricey nowadays though. Again, spam again, but with bacon this time.
Oh, that's posh.
Yummy. And then the Royal Dane. I've got a couple of Royal Danes. Again, one of my dad's favourites, so I couldn't leave those out.
See, I've got a Royal Dane in here somewhere, but I think I've got a different one to you. I've brought some Prince's cured ham, which is what my nan used to give me. It's in a bit of a rubbish tin for fishing, but we'll give it a whirl. I've got this cheap Orca Holland meat that I got off my mate Tom. I've got loads of trays. I think you've got some.
Yeah, I've got some as well. Yeah.
Caught a lot of barbel on that through the summer. So we give that one a whirl. Ye Old Oak classic ham. I've got no idea what that's like. I've never seen it before. There's the Royal Dane bacon grill. Now I know some of you watching. That's your absolute banker.
It's quite tasty, that.
Is it? Oh, I'll take your word for it. I've gone for a cheap meat as well. This one was I think only £1.30 or £1.50 or something. Some chopped pork and ham from Sainsbury's, which reading on the side of the can looks like it's from the same factory as Spam. And I bought some posh stuff. Look at that. Tiger Woods. They put that in your egg fried rice. It's full of MSG. It's a bit more expensive. It's the premium meat that's here, but you know me, like a bit of premium meat. So what we're going to do is a number of different tests. We're going to test the texture, we're going to test the taste.
The durability.
Yeah.
See how long it can stay on the hook for after a couple of hard casts.
See what staying power the meat's got. Come on, let's get stuck in. I think we're going to feel sick after this, but...
I think so. Never had so much meat in all my life.
I don't believe that for a minute. At the end of this, you'll know exactly what meat to put on the hair.
Okay, so as you can see, we've put these all in order. Now these are in order from the cheapest all the way up to the most expensive, which is on the end there by Matt. What's the most expensive one? Is it £4?
£4 a tin.
£4 a tin. It's quite a big tin though compared to the rest.
Yeah, what is it? 340 grams or something like that. Yeah, 340 grams. And that's from Holland.
Holland.
I think the rest of them are all from Denmark.
Yeah, this is the cheapest. So I suppose the next thing is to try them all and see which is the best one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this time of year especially, people are thinking about Christmas and spending their money, and you might want to put a tin of luncheon meat in somebody's Santa's sack. But for me, I want to go fishing with this stuff. I don't want to spend a fortune. So when it comes to value for money, I think you've got to sort of make your own choice, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always like to have a cheeky cube while I'm on the bank. You know, half the time I don't take any lunch with me, so I end up eating half the meat when I'm blanking.
Well, the one thing that is noticeable is that the supermarket own brand stuff is significantly cheaper than the branded stuff. The only thing that the branded stuff has got going for it, it's in pretty much every corner shop in the country. And for stuff like this, a bit swankier, bit of a specialist product, but it was in Sainsbury's and Tesco.
Was it really?
In the weird noodle Chinese area.
I suppose what we want to know, is it going to live up to its price tag, or is one of these going to be just as good? Well,
I'm looking at the ingredients on the side. I'm not particularly looking forward to this, but it's a bit of a guilty pleasure in it, luncheon meat.
Thinking how much pork is actually in this?
Not a lot. Come on, let's get it carved up.
God.
First, we're going to do the taste test.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with the two cheapest meats. Now, I've got this one out of the can, and the first thing I've noticed, you noticed actually, didn't you, Rob?
It's been poured in almost and then set in the tin.
So it's basically Spam jelly, like luncheon meat jelly, but it is cheap. You'll find this in a lot of tackle shops at the moment, actually, for a really cheap price. The texture of it is quite
spongy,
quite bouncy, yeah, almost like a bouncy ball. It smells terrible.
Can I smell your meat, man?
Yeah. Well, God, only if you let me smell yours in a minute.
His meat smells horrible.
It's almost like black pepper. It's like they've tried to disguise how horrendous it is with A black pepper smell now. I don't really fancy eating a lot of this, so I won't cut us a massive cube.
Yeah, that'll do.
Softer than I thought.
It's quite soft in it. I wouldn't imagine that stay on the hook very well.
It's very gritty.
It's quite gritty.
Very gritty. I think you'd have to use quite a big piece with a meat stop or something
just
like
split,
that.
Wouldn't it, otherwise?
It's just going to come off if you try and hair rig that directly. But I
Mm.
think for the pole anglers and method feeder fishing, could be pretty good. Yeah,
Feeding.
yeah, it could be really good to feed
Chop it
actually.
up in small cubes, feed it in.
Oh, nearly got the camera. Nearly got the camera. What about that one, Rob?
So this is Sainsbury's own chopped pork. To be fair, it come out of the tin really nice as well. You know, you're not
There's no
shaking it for ages.
wastage yet.
Smells really good. Does actually smell quite nice. The texture, it's quite firm actually. It's quite.
Can't be a bit of firm meat.
No, I love a bit firm meat.
It smells like lard. It's a little bit lardy.
I'll have a bigger piece of that one.
Oh, it is. That is
Quite firm, isn't it?
significantly firmer.
You can
than
see,
the
like,
orca.
if you look at the inside of that one compared to that one,
Yeah, that's actual meat.
you can see there's more meat in that one than there is in there.
That looks like set pate or something
Yeah.
like that. But I might have a slightly bigger piece of this. There you go, mate. So this one, which is this one?
Sainsbury's own. It's quite nice.
You'd end up eating all of that, I think.
Quite salty.
If you weren't catching anything,
Mm.
I think you'd eat a lot of that.
Yeah, I probably would.
And from a texture standpoint,
Yeah, it looks quite durable.
I think you could use a Korum meat screw in there and it's going to stay on for quite a few casts.
Mm.
I think you could hair rig that with a quick stop and you're going to
Yeah.
get some...
With the meat stops, I think you get multiple casts out of that.
Well, I did hear Tyrone told me earlier that we're going to do a windmill test. You were going to windmill
yeah,
your
I'll,
meat.
I'll windmill my meat after and see how durable it is.
Well, we'll have to see. But I think I might have another piece of that. What
Yeah.
do you reckon?
Lovely.
Let's move on to the next two. See what we got. Right. So the next couple. This one's 86% pork, would you believe? Tesco's
Is it
chopped,
really?
chopped pork and ham.
That's the highest, actually, I think, out of all of them.
It's actually got some pork leg in.
Oh,
And if you look at the offering of spices, there are the most in this one. There's coriander, ginger, mace, onion, pepper, and something called sodium nitrite. You ever had that on your chips?
sodium. It just sounds like salt to me.
So we'll give this one a whirl. Again, this very, very similar to the Tesco,
Yeah.
to the Sainsbury's one, sorry. Really firm.
That's actually a higher pork percentage than the Spam, believe it or not.
You can see
And-
in the inside there, there's a lot of stuff, and the little white bits, whatever they are,
Just fat, isn't it?
bit
I
of
think?
elbow and a bit of ear, they're a bit smaller.
Mm.
The bits of fat are a bit smaller, so I reckon it's probably going to be,
Is it quite firm, that one?
yeah, maybe not as bouncy as the Sainsbury's one,
Mm.
and it's almost a little bit porous,
Yeah.
I'd say. A little bit more porous, which might be good on the hair. I mean, actually, it's pretty flaky. I don't think that'll hair rig very well.
No, do you know what? The Sainsbury's one tastes better than that.
That's pretty tasteless.
It's bland.
That's why all them spices are in there. Not a fat lot else. And it is
It's quite
really,
squidgy. Oh yeah, it breaks up quite
really
easy.
flaky.
Flaky, yeah.
really flaky. So that's the kind of bait that I'm going to probably want to put through a bit of hemp or something
Yeah.
rather than something I want to put on the hair. But it was cheap.
Yeah.
It's got that going for it. But yeah, maybe not the best option on a fast river, that one.
So next up we've got Tulip. I've been struggling to get this one out of the tin, I'll be honest. I've been shaking it. Oh, there you go, finally.
And the meat goes pop.
This one again feels fairly firm.
It's quite a fleshy colour, isn't it?
Yeah, this was always one of my favourites. So I'll be interested to see how this does against all the others.
It's very firm.
Yeah.
Definitely the firmest one so far. Again, it's got that sort of porousy type of texture.
It's got air pockets in it, innit?
Yeah, which would be pretty good, I think, on the float, sort of bouncing down your peg. Yeah, like texture-wise,
Yeah.
I reckon that was probably the best one yet in terms of hair riggability.
It tastes bad. Still not as good as the Sainsbury's one. Taste-wise.
Yeah, it's
got a weird aftertaste.
yeah. I wonder what that is. Let's have a look. What have we got in here? Pork rind, pork fat. No other flavours or anything like that.
Just a bit of salt.
Every care has been taken to remove the bones. Don't want bony meat. Right, let's move on to the next one. Now this one is in a bit of a weird shaped can.
It's like tuna.
I hope it's not like tuna inside. This one is just ham. It's not a luncheon meat, just ooh.
That should be quite firm.
Oh no!
Oh God, no! What's that?
Oh, oh.
Oh, that just looked grim as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to this one.
I'm not.
Oh, if I can get it up.
Why is it white?
It looks like dog food. It looks like dog food. It's a paste. I reckon that for the lads who fish the pole with that sort of sloppy meat paste, that's probably pretty good.
Is that in date?
Yeah, it's really soft.
That looks really soft.
Mega soft.
It's like corned beef.
Yeah.
It does actually look like dog food.
There you go, mate. Look, it doesn't look cooked.
That's too soft in here. You could probably mould that into a ball. Oh, you could as well, look.
Make little moilies.
To be fair, like you say, for a match, man, that probably wouldn't be too bad.
I
because
think for pole fishing, that's going to be wonderful.
you could mould that around your hook, almost like a paste, couldn't you?
Yeah, yeah,
that wouldn't be too bad.
Good for catching some big carp with, you know, pretty trashed mouths.
If you can see how squidgy it is, it's almost like a bit of a fibre paste.
Ugh.
It's no good for the rivers.
No.
So I think we can write that one straight off. What did it taste like?
Horrible. Tastes like nothing on earth.
I'll leave that on the miss then.
Not a pleasant thing that I'm going to remember from today.
Nope.
And that goo that came out.
That really has put me off.
So now we've got a bit of a test within a test. We've got the 3 Royal Danes. We're going to put these against each other next. What do you reckon?
Is it £2.19 a tin? I don't think that's bad. I've always used that one, the green one.
meat.
Yeah. If I was going to eat one, I think it'd probably be the bacon grill. But for fishing, I've always seemed to use this one. So,
well, of all of them, they're all sort of ring pull tops. It's only really this one, isn't it, that's had the little winder on the bottom. Let's get them cracked open and see if we can remember which one's which, and we'll tell you which one tastes the best. Oh, that's really smoky.
Yeah,
that's really smoky.
I do like that about these tins. Look, you can literally pull it out so easy. Smells pretty good.
Yeah. This one definitely smells very smoky.
I think that's one of the reasons I liked it so much, is because this is probably the firmest one yet, you know.
Yeah.
It's not got all those big white bits in it.
Yeah, it's a bit more pure pink.
Yeah. Pink meat.
Oh no.
But it's quite firm.
Oh, it's a bit of the, I thought it was a pube. It's a bit of the paint, it's a bit of the packaging.
Certainly don't pubes in your meat, do you?
Not in the morning. There's something very satisfying about that, pulling your meat out.
I should have done that 10 years ago.
Yeah, well. Fatherhood's been kind, hasn't it? So there we go, we got the 3 Royal Danes.
I'm only joking, by the way.
As we look, I would say that one smells like smoky. Really smoky. That is the bacon grill. I'm guessing that's where the grill bit comes from. Definitely firmer than all the others.
It is, isn't it? Much
firmer. So particularly if you're ledgering with meat, this is going to be a great choice. Again, it's got the little white lumps in it, but they're not over the top. It's not flaky. It's got a bit of bounce to it.
I will say
it's quite coarse.
It's okay. It's a lot better when it's fried.
Well, that is a bit of an edge in it when you're fishing. Give it a little fry off before you use it. I like that one. I think that one's definitely up there. It's something that's going to give you a different kind of sense.
Yeah.
I think Barbel especially going to like that.
I think straight out the tin, the Sainsbury's is still the tastiest one. Straight out the tin so far.
What we got next, which is the blue one, the meat, the pork and ham. Again, pretty firm, not as firm as the bacon grill, I have to say.
It's got bigger pieces of white.
Yeah, slightly fattier. Still really bouncy though.
That's all right.
No horrible aftertaste in that, pretty good. Texture wise, very good.
Yeah. I
think that's one of the best yet. Texture. And then we've got one of your favourites, Rob. Do you an extra big piece of that.
Ooh. Thank you.
This one looks to me like something that would go into a Korum meat screw very, very well and hold on to it.
You're going to go like cast out of this one, I think.
Yeah. It's I'd say the bacon grill was probably similar firmness to that. Pretty similar.
That's the best tasting out of the three. Definitely.
That's probably the best tasting. Would you say better than?
I think it's on par with Sainsbury's.
On par with the Sainsbury's then, so.
But it's the best out of the 3 Royal Danes.
Yes. Yeah, if we had to pick a Royal Dane,
yeah,
the Luncheon meat one. If you want something a little bit more unique, because all your mates are using that one, have a look at the bacon grill one. I think that bacon grill one, that smokiness, be good, especially on a flooded river. Now we're on to the OGs. Let's check out
the Spam.
Well, I think it's fair to say that Spam is probably the most treasured meat in all of England, because it was what people ended up eating after the war. This is the reason Spam exists. It was something that was cheap, bit of protein for people that they could stick in the ration book. And, you know, however many years later, here we are, still sticking it on a sandwiches, still mixing it in with the pork pies, and still trying to catch fish with it.
Yeah.
Well, you've got the original, but it's in some different packaging, isn't it?
It's in plastic. It's really easy to get out. Looks like they filled the packaging again, but you can push it out from the bottom. And I'll be honest, that is probably the firmest meat so far.
Rob's got some firm meat, I tell you.
It's very firm.
That is really firm. You could bounce that.
You probably could, yeah.
Well, the Spam with bacon is more...
That's not as firm, is it?
No, I'm a little bit older than you, Rob, that's why.
So I wonder why that is.
Spam with bacon. This is obviously...
It's like a bar of soap, isn't it?
Yeah, that looks to me like it's been pushed down into that little tray. So it's just slightly different shape. It's not as flat on the top, is it? No. You're going to get some wastage. I don't think that's as good a value for money as that is. Especially if you're going to cube it up and use it for hook baits. But yeah, it looks really, really firm. The bacon one, that's a pretty good hook bait, I'd say.
Tastes better than the bacon grill.
Yeah, it's not as smoky. It doesn't taste as artificial. This one, it says 90% minimum on the front, but on the back, it says less than that.
74%, I think it says.
Yeah, which, you know, at the end of the day, oh no, sorry, 74% pork, 15% smoked bacon. I can't taste any bacon in that. I think it just tastes like some pretty nice luncheon meat.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Now this one, I'm going to be honest.
89% pork. Didn't bounce, did it? It's quite heavy. It's quite heavy, that.
That is, yeah. If you want to cast out and not cast out again for a while, that is definitely the meat of choice. That is the firmest one by, I mean, I've
got to be honest, with a meat stock,
it.
I don't think you're going to lose that until you get a fish.
Yeah, that's staying on all day.
That is firm.
Tastes like Spam. Just the way Mother used to make it. Well, I'm a bit worried about this next one, Rob.
Do you know what? As good as that is, I think it's going to be great on the hook. That Sainsbury's one is still the best tasting one.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I was just saying I'm a bit worried about this next one, because the last funny shaped tin we opened,
that was grim.
was pretty gross. This,
I don't think that's going to be as bad. I think it's going to be firmer as well. I think it's just cut off a joint of ham and just, well, at least that's what I'm hoping it is.
Let's have a look. There's no goo.
There's no goo.
No goo, it's just jelly. Oh, wow, that surprised me.
Looks all right.
Now, the one thing I will say...
Quite a lot there, isn't there?
Yeah, this is, I think, the heaviest can here, along with the Tiger. You get quite a lot in there for your money. 325 grams. It's quite hard to get out. It's pretty wet.
What's the firmness? Does it feel firm?
Yeah, it's
firmish. It's not.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You get a lot of it.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
I think this would be. Actually, it's quite firm. A different sort of texture. It's very sort of squashed, like layers almost that have been squashed down. So that might flake up a little bit. If you have a look at that texture-wise,
Soft. It is quite soft.
It's
When you bite into it.
yeah.
It's
Is that
almost,
because it's smooth?
almost tastes quite gammon-like.
It's very wet.
No, that aftertaste isn't very nice, is it?
Oh no. It's very wet. I think there's a lot of brine in there,
Mm.
which is probably quite good for fishing. But again, look, you can see
Splits really easy,
a
like.
little bit too flaky, I think.
Yeah.
Another one. It's going to be good. Maybe push through a riddle or something like that, but we're on the hook.
No.
I think that's pretty naff. Next.
We're down to the last tin.
Oh.
Now this is the tiger meat, which is the most expensive of all of them. £4 a tin. You do get quite a bit again, don't you?
Yeah, 340 grams in there. It's packed in pretty tight. It's got a bit of bounce to it.
Yeah, it's a bit squidgy still.
But looking at the ingredients, if this is for Chinese cooking, then you can be certain that
Salt.
it's supposed to pack in, yeah, a lot of salt, probably a lot of MSG. Monosodium glutamate is, for those who don't know, is like a flavour enhancer that's 100 times saltier than salt. And I reckon there's quite a lot of it in here.
It's quite bendy, flexible.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a fibrous nature to it, but it's not splitting, is it?
The texture's really nice.
Yeah.
It's almost a mix between corned beef and luncheon meat.
That's the one I'd put on my sandwiches, if I had to.
Tastes a lot like corned beef. It's weird.
Well, we're still eating it, so I reckon it must be up there.
It's nice.
So now I think
Do we need to give them a score now out of
we
10?
can give them a score, and we can narrow this down for the next test.
Yeah.
Well, doing that little test there has filtered it down. We've shortened the field, so some of these, they're all right, but they're just not in the same league as the other ones, which we're going to do a few more tests with. All of the Royal Danes, I would say, are pretty good to take fishing, but that luncheon meat one is just so much better. And some of these other ones, it's just not right. It's just not right. First things first, value for money. It's important at this moment in time. I know it's only a couple of quid. If you go fishing quite often, that can soon add up. And if you're catching fish, you get through more than one tin a day. So we've ranked the best tasting and the best value for money, the Sainsbury's one. I think it was £1.35 or something like that. That is unbelievable value. Really good. It's only a 200 gram tin, but really, really good luncheon meat, that one. Next up, the Royal Dane, the pork luncheon meat. It's a couple of quid, £2.20, something like that if you shop around. Another great tasting meat, good texture, good value for money, 250 grams in that one. Next up, we've got the tulip. You get a little bit more in there, as you can see. Again, not that expensive. Not really one of the best meats we've found, but it is good. It has made it through into our final 6. Next, we've got the OG Spam. I'm not sure about this new packaging. It makes it look like a little brain in there. It's a bit weird, but that's the one's up next. Then the bacon, and then finally, £4 for a can of meat. But it did taste nice. It did come second in the taste test. And I think if I was going to buy one for my own fishing, that might be the one I take. Let's see how it fares in Rob's next test. We're milling his meat.
Okay, so as you can see, we've whittled it down to just 6 meats. Now these are in order from best tasting down to the worst. And I'll say the worst, it's not bad, but the Sainsbury's one is probably one of the cheapest ones, if not the cheapest. It's probably the best tasting one out of the lot. Second place was the old Tiger, and then the Royal Dane. Now we're going to test the durability. So I'm going to do a bit of windmilling with the meat and see which one is the best.
Right, Rob, we're going to go one by one. The next test. What is the test?
So the test is an extreme one. It's going to be the windmill test, and I'm going to perform that for you now, and we'll see how it gets on. Is it going to fly off, or is the meat going to hold firm?
Well, the the hair rig you've got in your hand
Yes.
is got a meat stop on, hasn't it?
It's got a
Korum
meat stop. So, I mean, you can generally get quite a few casts out of most meats on the market with a meat stop, a lot more than you would with just a hair, because the hair does tend to cut through the meat and slice it.
Yeah.
But the firmer your meat, the more cast you're going to get out of it anyway. So we'll find out now. Is this meat firm enough to withstand the test? Right, so here we go with the windmill test. This is what we call the windmill. Oh, and there it goes. How many seconds was that?
It's longer than I would normally last, but yeah.
About 4 or 5 seconds, I think that was, before the meat came off. So it's not great.
No.
It's not great. You're gonna have to give that quite a low score. Let's try the next one.
Pretty good. Spam, it was firm. Look at that wrist action, folks.
Done that before.
Nah, that ain't coming off.
Nah, that's a good meat. Nice and firm. Ooh, that was quite poor.
That ain't coming off.
Oh. I'm impressed.
So folks, we have a winner and we also have some losers as well. We've scored everything 1 to 6. Now in your little windmill test, a few of them all scored 6 because they didn't actually come off the hair. Now that is a really extreme test, isn't it? That's going to stay on the hair for a long time. So some good choices in here. We'll show you on the table which ones were most durable. But I feel a bit bad about this, you know. I thought this was going to be, you know, like a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah.
But its price point has let it down a little bit.
Yeah.
It does taste good.
It does taste nice. You get quite a lot in the tin. £4. You're going to be using quite a lot of it, and it's going to keep coming off the hook.
The problem with it is it's got too much nice bits of meat and bacon and ham and stuff in it, so it's a bit loose on the hair.
It's almost got a bit of a corned beef sort of taste and texture to it. It's weird.
I'd buy it if it was on offer.
Yeah, I probably would
But
as well.
I'd probably eat it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then surprisingly, actually, the old spam with bacon is down there as well in sort of joint 4th, 5th place. The tulip and the spam. I mean, I think all of us have probably used that tulip meat a lot.
Yeah, I have.
Over the years.
I was quite surprised by how quick that came off, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you can see it's quite porous.
Yeah, it's
almost like a little bit spongy, and that's let it down. The bacon stuff, it's more the flavour that's let it down. It didn't score very well. Tasted pretty pants. And then, of course, we move on to the final
winners. The one that surprised me the most, it's got to be the Sainsbury's one.
A complete flush.
Complete flush.
Top marks for every test. It was the best tasting. It's the best value for money.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come off the hair.
It doesn't come off either.
It doesn't come off the hair. And it does taste really, really good.
It was good.
These other ones, you know, honourable mentions, Spam, the OG, we always knew that was going to do pretty well.
Yeah.
It was always going to be up there somewhere.
Yeah.
And the Royal Dane, you know, formerly known as Plum Rose, match angler's favourite, river angler's favourite. And you said that pork luncheon meat was going to be the best one of the 3. And sure as damn it, it was.
It bloody is.
So, yeah. Make sure you rush down to Sainsbury's.
Chopped pork and ham.
Sainsbury's, if you'd like to sponsor us, it'd be lovely. I know a man who'd love all of this meat, Mr. Ellis Brazier, the video he made recently with all his tips for meat fishing. If you haven't watched that yet, make sure you go and check that out.
Because he'll show you how to treat your meat.
Yeah, he likes lubing it up nice, does Ellis?
Likes his meat nice and
Yeah,
sticky.
he does make it tasty, and he does make them Mrs. Barbel. He does drive them wild.
He does.
So yeah,
I think there's one thing left to do. I think we should try and catch a fish on it now. Don't you?
beautiful idea. Let's do it. At least we know which one to use. Let's go.
There's only a bit left. We can get most of it.
Remember folks, if you're going to take tins and stuff to the bank, please take them home. It doesn't take a minute to put it away and get rid of it, because that in the river or in the lake or on the side of a lake is not good news. It's not good news for fishing, and it won't be good news for you either. Rob will come after you, he will. They don't call him the Dudley Stud for nothing. He's a boxer, you know. Hands like a meat cleaver, like a luncheon meat cleaver.
Spam Nam style! My meat's come off.